Perfect start to the 2024 season for LAFC.
Let's go.
Black and gold get a big 2-1 victory over Seattle. Now, it wasn't a perfect game. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a perfect start, Mario. LAFC get the full 3 points.
Yeah.
That's what matters when you're taking on a tough Western Conference opponent that you expect to be battling all season long in the standings. That's what I mean. Wasn't a perfect game. Nobody played a perfect game in the first weekend of MLS, but it was the perfect start, and I am so pumped. This is LAFC Plus. He is the great Mario Ruiz. I'm Dave Denholm. Episode 2. Can you believe it? Can you believe we made episode 2, Mario?
Of course we can. Of course we can. Let's go. We're going all the way through the season. Catch us right here. LAFC Plus. Throw it up.
Do I have to do that
real quick? Yes.
Okay.
There you go. I mean, first we throw up the LA and then we throw up the plus, and that's LAFC Plus. Let's go.
Yeah, too much arthritis in these hands to do that. I'm so old, man. I can't do it.
wasn't the perfect game, but it was LAFC's 7th perfect win, right, for the season openers. 7 in a row now, LAFC going at
Unbelievable.
For those season openers. That's good. Now, Seattle, of course, is always a tough opponent. But this was a match LAFC, I feel, should have won because Seattle was a little bit banged up, right? They're missing a few key players. Fry was out. João Paulo was out. So it's also, for me, I think it's the end of an era at Seattle, a little bit, in the beginning of a new one. We got a glimpse of De La Vega and what he will be like at Seattle. So, yeah, I mean, 3 points for the black and gold in the season opener. That's always a good thing, Dave.
Yeah, I agree. We will be certainly breaking down that match a little bit further. Now, as we take a look at this, the thing about Seattle, Raul Ruiz, such a tough player, but
yeah,
like him and like some of the, they got, Nico Lodero, it was time to move on. They're getting older, and the team, like that roster is getting a little bit older. Now, as you said, they still are going to be very good. Christian Roldan. I mean, we know the talent they have. Pedro de la Vega, such a young, fine player from Lanús. Even in the few minutes he came on, he made a difference. He really did. Made it very nerve-wracking for LAFC.
Going up against Lloris in that PK. Yep.
Yeah. And, it's the kind of thing, Mario, where Seattle's just going to get on the plane and go home. Yes, would they have loved to come back and get the point? Of course. Brian Schmetzer put them out the 4-4-2. A little bit different style the way they usually play because, again, they were missing so many key players. He's not going to make any excuses.
He knew that they had a couple bumps, and he said that it's not the right time to throw him out there. Maybe if it was later on in the season, probably they could probably give it a go. But since it's so early, no need to risk it.
Good point. Yeah, playoffs, they were going to be in there, of course.
Yes.
But Game 1, long season. Quite frankly, you're not expecting to get points out of BMO Stadium anyway. I mean, if you get that draw, that would have been huge for Seattle. So you just make sure you don't push it because they're going to be right at the top of the West. I mean, they're going to be battling whether it's LAFC who's going to win it or Seattle. I mean, these two teams are going to be a force in the Western Conference, no doubt about it. It was a good match.
Yeah,
I really liked the way LAFC played. I thought that they were, LAFC came out, really looked more like mid-season form. Now, again, still got work to do. I'm not going to sit here and tell you LAFC played their best game of the season. No way. Plenty of work to do, but it wasn't, kind of disjointed like sometimes you see in the first match after a long preseason. Only
thing I noticed, Dave, was a little bit of the miscommunication with the back line.
Yeah.
A little bit in the first few minutes of the game, but mainly that was just the back line. But then it seemed like as the first half progressed, it seems like they got it together. And besides that, that PK, that call there on Aaron Long, besides that, LAFC was in control of that match.
I agree. And it helped early because you're right. I thought it helped that Hugo Lloris has good hands. He's a great goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And the shots weren't like the toughest he's ever going to face by any means, but no rebound, no messing around back there.
Yeah.
Picked up the ball, head up, looking to distribute. He's going to get better at that. He's a great distributor of the football. So, and he hasn't played for a while, let's be realistic. He's still got to get back into it. So I thought it was great. 7 saves from Lloris. We do have the audio.
He made, that one was right off the hands, and he had strong enough hands to get that off. But that first save was a tough one for Lloris, but he was there.
Yeah, we like to tell you what goes on, in the radio stuff. We'll have that in just a moment. But as you can kind of hear, I'm recovering because, of course,
Dave?
Every first game of the season, I somehow have either allergies or I get stuffed up beforehand. I don't rest well before because I'm all pumped up
Pumped up, excited. Yep. Can't sleep.
or need a lot of sleep. Come in all stuffed up, and no doubt my voice is going to get rocked in the first match. It happened, but we're going to play the Timothy Tillman goal first. We actually have the audio from the play-by-play call. If you're just joining us or if you're just new to this podcast, I happen to do the play-by-play for LAFC. Most of you know that. Mario, of course, is the producer for LAFC Radio, the play-by-play on the English side. Most of you know that as well. But if you're just new to this LAFC Plus, that's our jobs for LAFC. And we'll play this first goal. Chef's kiss on the Timothy Tillman finish here. I thought the pass from Omar Campos was coming to Denis, who was crashing in. Thankfully, Denis wisely knew better. Let's listen.
Towards the end line, Campos, cross back post, Denis, shot, goal! It's Timothy Tillman with a shot from 12 yards out. It's 1-0. The cross went past Denis and everybody else, and Timothy Tillman blasted it home. Oh, what a goal from Tillman. It's the first of the year.
Mario, just out of the air. He looked like Denis doing it, really. That was a Denis finish.
Yeah. And Timmy Tillman, he got the party started, of course, for 2024. He got the first goal for LAFC of the year. And now in the offseason, I picked Timmy to have a big season this year. I'm talking about all-star type season, maybe some more looks from the U.S. men's national team. That would be awesome as well for Timothy. So let's see if he keeps it going. And yeah, that cross came in from Campos, and Denis was right there, and Timmy was right there. Both of them were there. Both of them were open. And I talked to Timmy after the game, and he said that, all I was thinking in my head was, Denis, please don't touch it. Denis, please don't touch it. And Denis, of course, he didn't get to it, but Timothy did, and he put it in the back of the net.
A thing of beauty. Yeah. That was late in the first half. That was really a backbreaker if you're Seattle, I think. Final really seconds of the first half, essentially. Yeah. Early in the second half, Mateusz Bogusz, who we need to play well, he took the 9 roll, took it from Steve Cherundolo and said, okay, I'll do it. And, that's not his normal position, but he's got a lot of skill, and it was on display in the 55th minute.
Pass to Bogusz. Denis continues his run. Bogusz into the area, cutting it back on his right foot. At the 18, shot, goal! Matty Bogusz makes it 2-0! Oh, what a goal by Bogusz at LAFC! And listen to the crowd at BMO Stadium!
Of course, you can hear those games on ESPN LA 710 in LA. And if you need something to help your voice, like I'm still working through, I highly recommend Grethers Pastilles. This is not a commercial. This is not an endorsement. But if you're wondering how I do manage to get through those and get stronger as the season goes on, frankly, it is with the help of some tea and some, the good pastilles. If anybody's in the, the audio or radio business or whatever, you probably already know that. But amazing game.
Yeah.
Mario, the one thing about this team is, to be perfectly honest, it's about defense. People don't talk about it much with LAFC. Mm-hmm. You know as well as I do, this team is really sharpened up defensively. I know Giorgio Chiellini, of course, that is a good start, one of the best defenders of all time, but they played well defensively. Yes, Aaron Long had the tough breakdown. That was a great play by Seattle to force that out of Long. That really wasn't Aaron Long's fault on that play, frankly. But this defense, we're going to be in matches.
Yeah, that starts with the head coach, right? Steve Cherundolo.
Absolutely.
One of the best to do it for the U.S. men's national team. Yeah, he takes a lot of pride in that defense. Ante Razov takes a lot of pride in that offense, and that's the reason why LAFC is so exciting with the style that they play. And Ante Razov has a lot to do with that, but Cherundolo is going to make sure that defense is definitely ready to go.
Yeah, we'll get our goals. Mm-hmm. You're right. I mean, but this is not a team that's going to want to win 5-4, 4-3. That's not, you'll take it, of course, but they want to be locked down defensively and get after teams. And I think we saw that throughout most of last year, a very tough defensive team, and that's going to continue. That's a good sign. That's a good base. We do want to show you things here on LAFC Plus if you're watching on YouTube. We want to get behind the scenes, though, too, a lot. And we've talked about that. I'm never more excited than the first match of a season, right? You're pumped up. I told you I couldn't sleep the night before. Really didn't do a good job of that. But one thing that's very cool is Mario did this little behind the scenes video of how, basically what our job is during the match. Mario, why don't you roll that now? This is really some good stuff.
Yeah, let's go into the booth here, the LAFC Radio Booth at BMO Stadium, while the action is being called here from Dave Denholm. All right, guys, come this way. We're going to do a little BTS of the LAFC radio broadcast. It's going to be a little bit quiet because we're right in the middle of the action right here. Dave Denholm is on the call, of course. We have, this is our engineer, Mike Dooley, over here. This is where he controls the broadcast here, controls all the audio, all the levels here. We got Dave Denholm right in the middle of the action right over here. Come over here to this side. You see the rundown is here. This is kind of like the road map of the whole broadcast. We have some of Dave's game notes. Dave is right in the middle of the action. I'll take off my microphone so you can hear him a little bit there.
Blasted high. Alex Roldan gets up really upset there with a call from the referee. No foul outside of the area. The referee will have none of it. Tencio mishit that one with the left foot. 52nd minute. LAFC won.
You see Dave's chart that he does for every game is right over here. You got the LAFC players. You have Seattle Sounder players. So this is our view here from the LAFC broadcast. You can catch us on ESPN LA every game. ESPN LA is the home of the black and gold. It's a little BTS for you guys. So there you go. We're going to try to bring you guys some of that stuff, some of that behind the scenes from the radio booth or from our broadcast, something like that from BTS, LAFC Radio.
I didn't even know you were doing that when you picked that up, Mario. That was great stuff. And you can see me like doing this, like with my hands. I'm doing this if you're listening to this. During the video, I'm like pushing, like, they're pushing up the line of Laszlo, whatever. I didn't even know you were there. Like, I didn't even know I was doing that either. So that's kind of like a weird thing for me to see because I'm not used to, like, I actually was like broadcasting with my hands. It's just like something I didn't even know I do. I'm sure you do because you're standing right next to me most of the time, but
yeah,
that was wild.
Best in the biz, Dave. You're the best in the biz. I'm just, I'm glad you're black and gold because nobody does it like you on the call, Dave.
Well, you make it easy, and the team, more importantly, the team makes it easy. I mean, we've had a great run, haven't we? I mean, like, let's be honest, just off to a great start into season 7, but it's been quite easy to broadcast this team from kick 1 back in 2018. I mean, they've been so successful. So I really love the gig, and I know, Mario, you do too, and we're just having a great time. So we'll give you more of that background here on LAFC Plus. Some of the plus is also of LAFC Plus is looking around the rest of MLS. Let's start with a big game last night down the road on the 110 in Los Angeles. Galaxy, their turn to host Inter Miami, and of course, Lionel Messi and friends. And, obviously we experienced that last year, Mario, how crazy that was. Yep. Certainly was no less crazy last night at Dignity Health Sports Park, a packed Dignity Health Sports Park. And I got to say, I thought that was a really well-played game. Ends up 1-1. Probably the Galaxy feel a little slighted by the final score. They got the red card on the second yellow that didn't look like a foul, but boy, you can't go diving in on anywhere near Sergio Busquets when you're on a yellow because he's going to make sure the referee makes a hard, has a hard decision. So, and then, Messi gets the goal late. Mm-hmm. But realistically, I don't know how you felt. I thought LA Galaxy played well, and I thought Inter Miami responded well in the second half.
Yeah, I think the Galaxy deserved a lot more than just the 1 point, but this game here in Carson last night was typical of how Miami's season will go this year, in my mind, because it wasn't pretty for Miami.
Yeah.
But they did battle back in the end. Of course, Messi and Alba pull off the brilliant goal as they did, and that finish from Messi was just top class. Now, it wasn't an easy finish. He made it look easy, but that was a tough finish from Messi. And there's going to be some bumps in the road, for sure, for Miami in this long, grueling schedule that they have. But with that class and experience, Dave, I think they'll be right in the mix in the Eastern Conference. And that's barring injury. Barring injury, they will show up for sure. And they will be there in the big games, especially in the playoffs, no matter where they're seated.
That was a tough finish by Messi, too, and just such class.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he knows exactly when to take something on the half bounce or let it just go a little further into his right foot instead of his left. I mean, he does it in the blink of an eye too. Obviously, that's the key. People can play sports, but it's how fast can you play a sport that really determines how good you are and if you're a professional. And this guy's above all professionals. Like he's just obviously there's all the superlatives, but man, what a classy finish there. I got to tell you, we watched the Galaxy bring in the new players, right? Joseph Paintsel, one on the wing, Gabriel Peck, who came off the bench on the wing, the other wing. I was impressed with Peck in just short minutes. I thought Paintsel had some good moments. His finishing wasn't there. Now that should turn around for him, you would think, as the season goes on. But Mario, are the Galaxy defensively they played well last night, but is this a team that can threaten in the West with this defense, in your opinion?
It's still yet to see. I mean, they did put on a good performance in that season opener. Of course, they're going to be up for it, being at home, being all the hype that went into that game. Messi being there, of course, and the whole Inter Miami.
Yeah, you got your best.
That happens.
It felt like you got your best Galaxy performance, much like when they take on us, right? Much like when they play LAFC.
Yes.
They don't do that though all the time against Sporting Kansas City or Portland or a big game against St. Louis. They don't have that all the time.
If they don't get that second yellow, does Inter Miami go in and tie the game?
No.
And that was a tough call to get from the Galaxy there.
Yeah, but don't be stupid to get the first yellow. Sorry.
True.
It was a terrible first yellow. What, he kicked the ball away or whatever it was, or wasted time.
Can't do that. Yeah.
Don't get your first yellow that way, and you won't have to worry about it. Even if the ref misses a call, gives you a yellow for a tackle on Busquets that maybe shouldn't have been. Last night it shouldn't have been. But you were already on a dumb yellow. And that's what we are. Don't do that kind of stuff. And then you won't put yourself in that position. And I do think the Galaxy would have had a big win without that red card. Yeah, that's very good point. Another good point is how on point Mario often is with his wardrobe selections. And that's part of our football fit check. This is my wardrobe, by the way. I think I said that last week. Like, I own about 30 black T-shirts.
Nobody.
If I own one,
like you, Dave. Nobody.
Nothing on them. That's all I do. I just 30 black T-shirts. Boom, done. Whenever I get a stain from eating too much, which is quite often, I'll just throw that one away, and just move on to the next one. So then I'll have 29 for a while till I, get another one. But Mario thankfully knows all about fashion. We've got Football Fit Check. Mario, what happened this week? This is a pretty cool thing for Football Fit Check, I got to say.
Yeah, so Football Fit Check is going to be where we pick out some of the flyest fashions from around the football world here, especially MLS, of course. Now, one of the flyest dudes in MLS, of course, is Denis Bouanga. And after the training session that you and I were at, Dave, the players go in and they shower up, and some come out to talk to media, 1v1, or talk to reporters, or whatever it may be. And Denis pops out. And he comes out just looking fresh, like always, right? Just looking fly. He comes out with this teal, aqua, blue jumpsuit. And I just look at him like, man, we got to get this on Football Fit Check. So I pull him over. I'm like, Denis, let's talk about the fit really quick. And here's my chat with Denis real quick. Denis Bouanga, of course, Golden Boot winner. I saw the outfit, and I had to bring him out for Football Fit Check. And if you could just do a little spin so we can see the whole outfit really quick. Loving it. Lacoste, of course. Lacoste is from France, correct?
Lacoste is from France.
All right.
But in Westfield, he have a store in Westfield.
Right.
Of
course, it's worldwide. It's worldwide, just like you,
good.
Denis Bouanga. You ready to go for season 7 of LAFC?
Yes.
How do you say ready to go in French?
On est prêt.
There you go. Ready to go. Denis Bouanga, Football Fit Check. The man
I love that.
There, Denis. Yes, sir.
That was hilarious, Mario. Very good stuff. And I got to tell you, he looked really sharp. He really did. You're right. You nailed it on that one. He was very, whatever the kids say, very fly, whatever that. Yeah, beautiful.
Whatever he does, Denis is going to rock it well. Of course, you know that.
Absolutely. And look, one of the things about this team is not only do they dress well, they have a lot of youth. Kids like to, the kids like to pay attention to the fashions, and everything, obviously, no question. So it's a big part of it. But youth movement is a big part of it. We're keeping an eye on the kids of LAFC, the young players. One of them, who we're really pumped about, David Martinez, did not get in the match, but he was available on the substitutes bench. We weren't quite sure about that. And Steve Tarundolo made him available on the subs bench. Certainly we'll be seeing him soon. First practice was Friday, the day before the game, so it's no real surprise that he didn't play. One guy who had a nice little performance off the bench, Nathan Ordaz, I thought he really hustled, and he's so hard to play, out of the back as an LAFC opponent with him all over everybody. He just has that hustle in him, and I love that. Two starters, Mario, that I thought played great for LAFC. New players, young players, I should say. Christian Oliveira, I expect big things out of him. I thought he did really well just kind of hounding Seattle. He wasn't, maybe as involved offensively often, as often maybe as we'd like to or usually see out of him. But I thought his defense was really good. And Omar Campos, whoa, I got to tell you, I watched the league. I love MLS. I did not see a better first ever performance in MLS from anybody this week, not just young players.
How perfect was Omar? I mean, in his first game with the black and gold.
And he gets rewarded. Yeah, he gets rewarded. Yeah, he gets rewarded for MLS Team of the Week already. He was
nice.
It was announced on Monday, so he's in the MLS Team of the Week.
The
goal scorer,
Omar.
Yeah, Matty Bogusz was on the bench for that. Like, he didn't quite make the starting 11, but so he was recognized for that too. But Omar Campos, first appearance out of Santos, of course, comes over from the Liga MX. We talked about it last week. I mean, the dude's 20. Kid's 21. He's already got 100+ first team performances for Santos. Pretty darn good club, in North America. So if you can do that, you're going to be fine, and you can play. And he can play.
His first few situations with the ball there defensively, you notice how his class just stuck out. His confidence on the ball, his calmness, and then that cross to Tillman that resulted in that first goal of 2024 was just top
thing
class.
Of beauty.
And it was very reminiscent of who? Chiqui Palacios. That's right.
Yeah, I would agree.
He's filling in those shoes, and he's doing it pretty well in the first week here.
Yeah, really impressive performance. And again, he did get up and down the pitch, but I thought his, defensively too, rock solid. Look, he likes to get forward. Yeah, he's an offensive threat. That's how LAFC is going to play on the, with the wing backs. Of course, Ryan Hollingshead on the other side, a perfect example. They don't lose anything defensively, but they want to get forward too. And Campos, I thought his defense was top quality, so that was a great sign. He really battled. I love that, and certainly a tough task. With Seattle. A tough test with Christian Roldan over there a lot of times on that wing. They often play with, Leo Chu staying on the left, Roldan staying on the right with his brother, Alex. They know each other very well. That's a tough assignment for your first ever match in MLS, and I thought he was, really good. We do also want to take
You talked a little bit about the youngster, David Martinez, and he showed up to training last week. We were there when he took his first little tour of
that was Thursday.
Center. That was on Thursday, and then they just got done finished training, so he showed up a little bit late, but Friday, the next day, he got it in, and right away you notice that he is fit. He's ready to go. He's fresh off of some big games with the Venezuela national team, so expect him to see minutes as soon as LAFC get the chance to throw him in there. They're going to let him loose and see what he has, and we are all excited about him to make his debut for sure, Dave.
Yes.
Now, we just can't wait for that.
Couple of things.
Yeah.
I'm an old man. I've been around sports for a long time. Sometimes you get a little jaded, right? There's nothing. I feel no jaded. I'm so excited like a kid to see this kid play, quite frankly. That's how it's kind of going to be really special. I'm getting like just the slightest bit of butterflies thinking about seeing him play because you just don't know, right? I mean, he's 18. The world's ahead of him. You don't know how good he can be because he can be so good. And that's what's so exciting. And that's not hyperbole. I'm looking forward to it. This guy could be really
looking forward to his debut. And of course, we saw Hugo Lloris make his debut and De La Vega make his debut with Seattle. And if you notice, Dave, I don't know if you noticed, but they were wearing a patch here right above the chest here where it said
good call,
debut, right? Now, that is a debut patch that all the players are going to be wearing when they make their debut. This is something that MLS and Fanatics Collectibles is doing. So every MLS player is making his debut in 2024 is going to rock this patch on the jersey. And then after the match, this patch is going to get removed and placed onto a collectible trading card, a one-of-one Topps trading card. And I'm just excited. I would love to have the David Martinez 1-of-1 trading card with that debut
Oh
patch on
man,
him.
that would be amazing. And collectors, of which we are, we do
Yeah.
both happen to. Collectors know how big that is. I actually have a 1-of-1 Stipe Buke that I picked out
Ooh,
of just a box, a regular blaster box, $20, box of cards. And I got a Stipe Buke,
our
not
guy.
long, not very kind of recently, so not that long ago, a one of
Hey, that
one.
price is going up. He's playing well, right, Dave?
He is playing well for Real
Yeah.
Valladolid. He had a nice assist. He's gotten
Uh-huh.
a couple of starts. The fans seem to be, on social media, they seem to be very. I've watched a couple of games. They seem to be very, encouraging of his start there, and I was encouraged, frankly. So all the best to Stipe.
Yeah.
Good kid. It's actually one of those calls that kind of lived on in the heat of the moment. I think I said something like, I love this kid like he's one of my own, or something, like one goal he had or something like that. So
Yep.
yeah, I do remember that one. He's great kid, and we wish him nothing but the best. But that's a good call. I like that debut. I think it's a smart move by Topps
Love
and
that.
Fanatics. Collecting is huge. We know that. So
Yeah.
let's take a look, Mario. Best performance from a newcomer in MLS. I'm going to make this kind of quick because I'll be honest with you. Among the newcomers, I thought Omar Campos was the best, not just
Yes.
because he plays for LAFC, but most of them were okay. They're feeling their way through, getting into, the sea legs under them, if you will, in MLS. It's a tough league. And, not that I expect big things out of a lot of the signings this year, but one of them stood out along with Campos. And to me, that was Davy Flores, the Honduran international with Toronto FC. We'll talk a little bit more about that match in just a few minutes. But Davy Flores, the defensive midfielder, first of all, we know him from Honduras, tough as nails. Like, this guy he'll get in there. He'll mix it up. And that's exactly what Toronto needs, right? They had no bite, seemingly. They have a guy like Jonathan Osorio who can already kind of pull the strings, and he'll get tough if he has to. I'm not saying that Osorio doesn't have a bite, but overall, the team just was so lost last season. And it's a guy like Davy Flores that can just come in and pick the game up by the scruff of the neck sometimes. He reminds me a little bit, not so much in the way they play all the time, but like Jose Martinez of Philadelphia. You don't want to be on the other side of him when you're playing that team, right? You'd rather he be on your team. And that's what Davy Flores brings this Toronto side. And they got a 0-0. Doesn't sound like much, right? But it was in Cincinnati for the supporter shield winner. Great team. They go into Cincinnati, a team like Toronto that won 4 matches last season. Yeah, count them. 1, 2, 3. That's it. 4. And they get a draw. So I thought Davy Flores deserves some, a special shout out there as a great performance as a newcomer. You can, Campos or him for me was, 1A. Like, they did well. Now, I expect big things out of a few more newcomers coming up. It wasn't like they were bad. Just these two kind of stood out to me. It brings me, though, to our Let 'Em Cook, which I think was a great segment you came up with, Mario. And what we do with this is
fun. That's going to be
Yeah.
fun.
Mario
Gotta
kind
let 'em
of
cook, man.
came up with this. Let 'em cook, meaning like we want to pick out one play. There you go.
Like this, Dave.
Yeah,
Cook up.
that I
Stir
know,
it up.
and I know I've seen that. That one I actually can follow along with. Thank you.
Okay.
But what we're doing is we just want to like kind of highlight, and we're not going to play the highlights of it, but talk it through a really great play, whether it's one individual. In this case, this week at Mario, it's a team goal that we both love. RSL taking on St. Louis City. Ended up 1-1, which is perfectly fine for LAFC, right? Both those teams splitting the points is fine by me. But what a goal. Set up by Diego Luna and the newcomer Matt Crooks, who wasn't bad either as a newcomer for RSL, came from the English Championship. The passing of this, the intricacy. Diego Luna, the back heel to Crooks.
Oh, yes.
Crooks wisely takes just a moment to decide what he wants to do, but he's fast about it. Hits a great through ball to Chicho Arango. Holy cow, the touch on Chicho to turn this thing around, to get going into speed. Like, he literally put it back to goal, turns it around immediately. The first touch is brilliant, where he can just run right on it. The defender is left in the dust. I mean, this thing, if you want to go find one highlight video from a goal this week, first it should be Mateusz Bogusz. But after that, you then go watch this goal, because that's how good it was. And Chicho made no mistake, as we know Chicho will do. Let them cook. Because if you see that goal week in, week out, Mario, you're going to fall in love with the beautiful game. That was a beautiful goal.
We all root for our guy Chicho, right? Former LAFC, of course, but not next week.
Not next week.
Hopefully, none of that is going on. But we do look forward to that matchup next week at RSL when LAFC go on the road for the first time. Chicho's going to be ready for that one. And you know what happened last time Chicho faced LAFC at BMO. So let's not have that happen again, right?
Yeah, a couple other little tidbits from around the rest of MLS on opening weekend. We did talk about the Galaxy and Inter Miami. I think both those teams are going to be, they're going to find their way. Inter Miami is going to be certainly more than fine, but the Galaxy showed some, progress, let's say, in their first week. We'll see how that continues. The Timbers, Colorado, don't get too crazy about either one of those teams in terms of the scoreline. Yes, the Timbers ran all over Colorado. I think it was 4-0 at half, 4-1 the final. Fully deserved win. Like, the Timbers looked good. Anthony looked great under new manager. Great. Yeah, Phil Neville. So maybe it's for real. New manager. We'll see what happens. They got some room to operate too, right? They still got room with DPs and stuff. Don't get too excited. My whole theory is your season doesn't start until you win on the road or lose at home. So, the Timbers held serve. That's great. Colorado looked bad. They're not going to be that bad. Okay. Chris Armas will get that thing. I'm not saying Chris Armas is going to lead this team to a, supporter shield or anything like he did, previously with New York. But no, that's not going to happen with this team, but they've gotten better. So it's the classic don't overreact game, right? For the score line, 4-1. Don't overreact to either team. Both of them might be decent. They still got to find their footing. Both of them. FC Cincinnati and Toronto, I talked about that. Just a little pat on the back, how I said Toronto wouldn't be that bad this year, and everybody mocked me. We still got a long way to go. We'll see. Hopefully I'm on the right path there. Mario, good results in the West. By that I mean there are a handful of draws. Nothing wrong with that when you're LAFC, right? Let other teams drop points. So that's a good thing.
The draw, St. Louis with the draw.
Absolutely.
Then Seattle with the loss. Things looking good for LAFC in the Western Conference standings, and then with them getting the 3 points.
You are 100% right. Yeah, you are 100% right. We'll take it, no doubt about it. Is there a team that you kind of like what you see? Something that besides LAFC, of course. What about Seattle for you, Mario? Like, we talked a little bit about it. A lot of injuries.
Yeah.
Once and for all, like, where do you see them going this season?
It's hard to tell right now. They were a little banged up here, and then
okay, let's say healthy, because that isn't. You're right. They're not always healthy, but let's say they're full strength. Where do they kind of fit if they could just find that health for a while?
With Smetzer at the top leading the charge, of course, you're always going to have a chance, and he's been there for a while, and he's been doing it well. As you know, they have a trophy case over there that's kind of full, so a lot of faith in him if you're a Seattle fan, and that they can get it together. And De La Vega, a lot of excitement around him, and we're going to keep an eye on him for sure, and I'm sure we're going to see him light it up this season.
Yeah, I'm glad that we got him when he was, could only had about 20 minutes in him. Still scored his opening goal from the penalty spot.
Yeah.
And we saw plenty to know that he's going to be tough. Yeah, he's going to be a good player. So Seattle will be, you're right. He's going to be right there. They're going to be right there if he can stay healthy. Always a big concern with Seattle for them, for the Sounders fans.
Your prediction of Toronto, though, in the East, Dave, is looking pretty good with Toronto going on the road in a hostile environment against the season supporters, shield winners last year, FC Cincinnati. That was not easy.
Yeah, but, besides LAFC last season, because we got off to a great start despite all the CCL, congestion, most teams don't handle that very well. So you got to give Cincinnati a little bit of slack. In the CONCACAF Champions League, maybe one eye on that, of course. Huge competition, right, Mario? So maybe there's a little bit of a letdown, whatever. You're playing Toronto, you're figuring you're going to win at home. Doesn't quite work out. They had some chances, don't get me wrong. Cincinnati looked pretty good in that game, too. They're a good team. So, yeah, I'm not going to jump on the Toronto like they're going to win the East or anything crazy, or Cincinnati's terrible because of it. It was just a nice start for a Toronto team that needs that.
And Insigne played well as well. He had a lot of chances. He played well. Yeah. He had, at the half, it was a frustrated FC Cincinnati team.
That's true. No,
it was a well-deserved point away from home, for sure.
That's a great point. Yeah, it is a great point. And that's a great point. So, yeah, you're right. You're 100% right on that. One thing that we hope we're right on is LAFC have had some success against RSL. Let's see if that continues. We got a big game coming up. We want to preview that right now just real quick. You can catch it on ESPN LA 710, of course. That's where we'll have our broadcast, and the ESPN LA app. And that app is all across the U.S. I mean, my dad listens to it across the country, relatives and everything. Great app. Check that out. Pre-game at 10:30. 11 a.m. is kickoff, a little after. And you can see it on, of course, Apple TV and the MLS Season Pass, which, by the way, I know people don't really want to hear me say this because I work for, LAFC. I'm part MLS Season Pass. Like, I'm a kid in the candy store, right? I'm a pig in slop when it comes to MLS Season Pass. I mean, it's, that's exactly what I love. So you can catch the game on there if you want. Don't forget, home matches. If you've never tried it, people seem to like it. You can click on the home radio audio for that. You'll hear the 710 ESPN LA audio, my game call on Apple Season Pass, the MLS Season Pass, for the home games at BMO Stadium, if that's something you so desire. This one, of course, is on the road, Mario. That will be up in the high altitude. You've talked a little bit about RSL even before. Real quick, thoughts on this match going up against our old buddy Chicho?
Yeah, can't wait to see Chicho. First time on the road for LAFC in 2024. We'll see how it goes.
Great stuff. He is Mario Ruiz. I'm Dave Denholm. Thank you so much to everybody who sampled episode 1. It's been great. This is episode 2, wrapping up. Black and Gold taking on RSL coming up on the weekend on Saturday. Again, 10:30 for the pregame, ESPN LA 710 and the ESPN LA app. Join us there. More importantly, not more importantly, just as importantly, thank you for joining us here on LAFC Plus. Mario, as always, great stuff, brother. And you look fly today too. Not too bad. So
thank you, my
fit
man.
check is good.
Wait for
great stuff.
3.
We will talk to you soon, everyone. Take care.